The distress beacon cut through the void like a scream in silence. Harry Chen adjusted his helmet's display as the salvage vessel Meridian's Hope drifted toward the wreckage. Debris fields stretched for kilometers, twisted metal, shattered crystal, and the unmistakable elegance of Velkari architecture reduced to cosmic rubble. Another one, muttered Graves over the comm.
Third Velkari ship this month.
Someone's hunting them. Harry said nothing. He'd been salvaging in the outer reaches for 7 years, long enough to know that silence often carried more wisdom than words. The Velkari were the galaxy's untouchables, a species so biochemically delicate that a handshake could poison them. Atmospheres tolerable to most carbon-based life proved lethal to their crystalline physiology. They traveled in hermetically sealed vessels, communicated through translators, and kept themselves distant from the galactic community, not out of arrogance, but necessity. The airlock cycled. Harry floated through the breach in the Velkari hull, his suit lights cutting through the darkness. Everything was wrong. The interior looked like something had torn through it with systematic brutality. Scorch marks blackened the walls, weapons fire. This wasn't an accident. Then he saw her. She lay against a shattered navigation console, her body a cascade of prismatic colors fading to gray. Velkari physiology was hauntingly beautiful. Translucent skin that refracted light into rainbows, limbs that seemed too delicate to support their own weight, faces that held an otherworldly grace. But this one was dying. Deep lacerations split her torso, the wounds weeping a luminescent fluid that crystallized in the cold vacuum. Royal markings traced her shoulders, the geometric patterns unmistakable. A princess, maybe, or whatever the Velkari equivalent was. Harry's training screamed at him. Don't touch. Human biochemistry is toxic to them. You'll accelerate her death, but she was looking at him. Those enormous eyes, like captured starlight, fixed on his faceplate with desperate awareness. Her lips moved, forming words his translator couldn't catch in the failing atmosphere. I'm sorry, Harry whispered. I can't. Her hand lifted, trembling, reaching toward him. The gesture transcended species, transcended language. A dying being asking not to die alone. Harry's gloved hand met hers. The reaction was instantaneous. Her body convulsed and he nearly pulled away, certain he'd just poisoned her. But then light blazed from the point of contact. Not the fading bioluminescence of her dying cells, but something fierce and golden. It raced up her arm like wildfire, spreading across her wounds. Harry watched, transfixed, as the deepest laceration began to close. The crystallized blood liquefied, flowed back into the wound, and the torn flesh knitted itself together with impossible speed. The gray pallor fled from her skin, replaced by vibrant prismatic shimmer. What the? Graves' voice crackled in his ear. Harry, your biometrics just spiked. What's happening? Harry couldn't answer. The princess's eyes had widened, her whole body now engulfed in that golden radiance. She gripped his hand tighter, and he felt something flowing through him. Not painful, but intense, like electricity without the bite. His suit's medical sensors screamed warnings, but he felt fine. Better than fine, actually. The wounds closed completely. Color flooded back into her form until she blazed with bioluminescent beauty. Her eyes never left his. When the light finally faded, she released his hand and sat up smoothly. Her lips moved, and this time, his translator caught the words. You are human. It wasn't a question, but Harry nodded anyway. She stared at her healed hands, turning them over with wonder. We were told humans were poison to us, that your touch meant death. Yeah, Harry managed. That's what everyone says. They were wrong. She rose to her feet with fluid grace, studying him with new intensity. Or perhaps not wrong, but incomplete. Your people have something we lost millennia ago. What's that? Resilience written into every cell. We Velkari engineered ourselves for perfection. We removed disease, violence, chaos from our biology. We became crystalline, pure but brittle. Your species kept the chaos. You still carry the ancient mechanisms of healing, of adaptation, of survival against impossible odds. She gestured to her restored body. Your touch didn't poison me. It reminded my cells how to fight. Harry's mind raced. The attacks on your ships, the Krillian Compact. They know we cannot defend ourselves. Our bodies are too fragile, too specialized. We've sent delegations to 100 species begging for alliance, for protection. All refused. No one risks contamination to save the untouchable. She moved closer. and Harry's suit alarms blared warnings about atmospheric incompatibility, toxic exposure risk. He silenced them. "What's your name?" he asked. "Akim, Crown Princess of the Velkari dynasty." She tilted her head, a gesture that somehow conveyed both regality and vulnerability. "You saved my life, human. By all our laws, I am bound to you until that debt is repaid. Harry, just Harry, and you don't owe me anything. Your customs may say otherwise, but among my people, life debt is sacred." She gazed at the wreckage surrounding them. "My escorts are dead. My ship destroyed. The Krillians will hunt me to the edge of the galaxy if they learn I survived. Then they won't learn." Harry activated his comm. "Graves, prep medical bay. We've got a survivor. And override the contamination protocols. I'm bringing her aboard personally." "Are you insane?" "The regs, override them." "That's an order." Silence. Then, "You're the captain. Bay prepping now." Akeem studied him with those luminous eyes. "You would harbor me? Risk your vessel, your crew, for someone you just met?" Harry thought about humanity's long history of standing between the helpless and the predators, of diving into burning buildings, storming beaches, rushing toward the explosion instead of away. It was humanity's particular brand of insanity, the irrational courage that made them both heroic and terrifying to a galaxy that had long since calculated the odds and chosen survival over sacrifice. "That's what we do," he said simply. "Someone needs help, we help. Someone's being hunted, we stand in the way. It's not always smart, but it's who we are." A smile transformed Akeem's face, tentative but genuine. "The galaxy fears humanity. Do you know why? Because we're violent, unpredictable. Because you're impossible. You survive what should kill you. You fight when logic demands surrender. You reach out and touch what should remain untouchable." She placed her hand against his faceplate, and even through the barrier, he felt warmth. "And somehow, impossibly, you make the universe better for it." Harry helped her toward the airlock, supporting her despite his suit's protests. Behind them, the wreckage of her ship drifted in silence, a tomb for her protectors, a testament to the galaxy's cruelty. But ahead, through the umbilical connecting to his ship, lights blazed warm and welcoming. Graves would complain. The regulations would be nightmarish. There would be questions, investigations, probably a court-martial. Harry didn't care. He'd held a dying princess, and his touch had healed her wounds. That was worth any consequence. That was humanity.